All righty. So welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to this program. It's titled New Time Management Thinking. So the goal is to help you learn how to manage your time better. So let me share my screen so I can share my presentation. Okay. All right. So I think everyone can see my screen. Is that correct? Awesome. All right, here I chose this image because some of you might be stressed out. We're in mid-semester, right? And so you might be stressing out about midterms, how to balance school, work, life, stressors, and everything else. Okay. So let me be the person to, the bearer of bad news, as they say. We cannot control time, so we can't manage it as people like to think. But we can practice managing ourselves to be more efficient in general. Prioritizing, it does not mean that you're going to create more time on your hands, because what ends up happening is you just shifted what needs to get done. So you're not creating more time, you're just, moving things around, and you focus on what matters first, but it doesn't help you accomplish all the other things on your list in the time frame that you need it to be accomplished. So what you're essentially doing is borrowing time from another task that needs to get done. So here today, I want to teach you or help you believe that you can actually multiply your time. And how do you do this? Well, you allow yourself to spend time on things today that's going to give you more time tomorrow. And I'll give you some examples. So this is how you multiply your time. And I want you to remember this, right? You ask yourself, can this task on my list, on my long to-do list, be eliminated? Can it be automated? If not automated, can it be delegated? And if it cannot be eliminated, automated, or delegated, do I need to sit down and concentrate and focus and get the task done? So when you ask yourself if you can eliminate this task off your to-do list, you ask yourself, well, is this task really worth doing? Is it really going to benefit me in the long run? Can you say no to the task? I'm a yes person. I'm guilty of it, and some of you might be. But no is a complete sentence. Whenever you say yes to one thing, guess what? You end up neglecting everything else that you have to get done. So you should be very stingy with your time, because, at the end, you might end up overwhelming yourself and be stressed out, and then not accomplishing anything. Because some folks, they will end up retreating or going to sleep or just procrastinating because of just being overwhelmed. So if you cannot eliminate the task because everything on your to-do list is important, you figure out if you can automate it. So take the time to create an automated process that will save you time in the future, like setting up automatic bill pay. I have automatic bill pay. Hopefully you have it too, because it gets things done. And guess what? My bills are never late. You end up getting an investment on your time. So I know it might take you long to set up the process early on, but you're going to gain so much time back later on if you just invest the time now. Some other things that came to mind when automating a task. I find it hard to read a book. And I wanted to read the new Alicia Keys book. I wanted to read the new Mariah Carey book. But what I ended up doing is purchasing the audio book. And that allowed me to listen to the books on the way to and from work. Some other examples of automating a task. Today, when I was getting ready for work, I was actually running late. See, time management issues. I was running late for work, but guess what? I opened up my closet and I forgot, but I paired up all of my outfits. So, and they're all hung up. I didn't have to iron or steam them. I didn't have to think about what items I could put together to wear today because I had invested the time last week and I forgot all about it. Um, Another thing that people do, and I would love to start doing, is meal prepping. Invest the time, meal prep. That'll save you time later on. Using things like the dishwasher, that's obvious. Maybe doing your hair the night before. These are some items. If you have ideas, share them in the chat. You know, how to automate processes in your life to give you more time later on. So if you can think of examples, I would love to see you adding that to the chat. All right. If you cannot eliminate the task because all your tasks are important, if you cannot automate the task, then you ask yourself, can you delegate the task? So we know it's hard to delegate a task because sometimes we don't always trust people with completing the task the same way that you would complete a project, for example. But over time, people will master it if they haven't already mastered it. And I want to give some examples of how I delegate tasks so I can create more time in my life. Shopping on Amazon. So it, it saves me so much time to not have to go to the store and purchase things. I just simply shop on Amazon. At one point in my life, I was shopping for groceries online. So put in the order and get it delivered to the house. At one point in my life, I even had I was paying for a service for my laundry to get done. This was when I was pursuing a doctorate program, a doctorate degree, I'm sorry. And I just needed to find time. So I ended up paying for services to help me save time and to give me more time. Some other things recently, I instead of painting my house, I ended up asking people to paint for me. Um, Flyers, I always need flyers to get done. So I always, reach out to a group of people who are interested in creating flyers. So what are some examples of how you delegate tasks to create and add more or multiply time in your life? I would love to see examples of that as well. And feel free, if you're interested in sharing, you could always interrupt me as I continue presenting. This should be a safe space for you to share ideas with each other to figure out how to multiply your time. Oh, another, I forgot to mention this, but what I do to automate, and this might be helpful for you to automate tasks, is I put it in my calendar, all deadlines in advance. So that way I'm constantly being updated before a deadline. So that way I don't miss it. All right, so if you cannot eliminate, if you cannot automate, and if you cannot delegate a task, do the task now, right? If none of the above are an option, then allow yourself to remove all distractions and just concentrate on what needs to get done now and get it done to, get that off of your chest, off your shoulders. So it's just not taking up space, real estate in your mind. The other thing you can consider is procrastinating on purpose. Now, this is different than procrastinating on things that you need to get done, like your assignment, studying for a quiz or whatnot. Procrastinating on purpose means you wait, like you strategically wait to do something because it's just not the right time to do it. And this can also be known as patience, having patience. So you put off the insignificant things, the things that are not pressing or, you know, need to get done right away. So like I said before, it's not the same as waiting to do something we know we should be doing, but don't feel like doing. Here is a resource that I used when I was in undergrad, and I would highly recommend that you use it too. If you type in time management worksheet into Google, you should be able to find this, a spreadsheet like this. And so what you do is fill in all of your classes, your work, your prep and travel time, like appointments that just don't change their regular lunch and dinner, and the prep time for that. These are things that are stagnant, meaning that they're fixed, they don't change. You want to identify those obligations first and put them on this sheet. Now, this is a sheet that it shouldn't change each week. This should be a sheet that you can use for the remainder of your semester. Then you can identify free time, right? And then you schedule in time to study and complete assignments. Now remember, for each credit, you should be studying at least 2 to 3 hours if you really want to get that A. Or use that time, that free time to go to tutoring or visit your professor's office hours. Or what's even important too is scheduling fun and relaxing activities. This is all good for your mental health. So I highly recommend, creating a time management sheet, right? And finding hidden time to, do the things that you enjoy doing. And if you see that your time management sheet is overloaded, then you should talk to someone and really consider sacrificing or removing something off of that worksheet. But don't sacrifice just anything. Make sure it's something that is not it's not going to contribute to your success. So if it's an internship, that's something you probably should not let go of, because it's really helping to build you into becoming a leader. It's going to help you for your future career aspirations. But if it is, let's say, a club that you have no desire in participating in because it's just not lining up with your mission, your goals, your values, then decide to let it go. And again, if I can't see the chat feature, if you want to stop me, you can stop me at any point and make comments. And my piece of advice is to be fruitful and multiply. So, I know that school, work, and life can be stressful because I was there at one point. But if you take some of these tips and advice that were given to you today, hopefully you'll be able to multiply your time. So that way it's not like all of your requirements and obligations are not weighing heavy on you and impacting your happiness or your relationships with other people. I would like to share two things before I jump into Q&A. Chat feature. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Does anyone have any questions? Before you leave, I have a survey that I would like for you to fill out, and you will be entered into a raffle to potentially win a $10 gift card. So don't leave just yet. But if you have any questions, this is the time to ask.
I see people in the chat asking me about the website blocker kind of thing that I was asking about. I'm going to be real, like I've never used one of them, but I've heard of other people using them where it's like an app or a website that you can pull up and you can basically plug in like facebook.com or Instagram or whatever and have it like for a certain period of time like stop you from being able to access that website on that like that computer. I've never used it. It looks like when I'm doing like a Google search on it, there are a couple different options of different companies that do it. But it sounded interesting to me.
That is interesting because Facebook is one of my biggest distractions. That would have been helpful for me. I am posting the survey in the chat feature. Did that worksheet, did that PDF link work? Candace, can you double check? Because I posted the PDF of the time management worksheet, which is it's not digital. It's not an application, but it's old school paper and pen.
In the chat?
Yeah, you can't see that. I'm gonna repost the link to you. Does anyone have any questions for me that I can hopefully answer or refer you to the right place? Okay, I'm trying to pull up the time management worksheet. And I Googled it. So let's see if this works. Okay, so when you Google time management sheet, if you Google that, it's the link, the second link below. I'm gonna show it to you. I'll share my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I type in time management sheet, and for me, it's this link that I go to, and the PDF pops up. You see that? Okay. What are some tips that I may have missed? Did anyone talk about tips or include in the chat feature tips on how they automate processes or delegate processes?
I just said music is helpful when studying.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I've even in terms of like studying and all, my like sometimes being in a place where like it's hard to focus, like if you're in your apartment with roommates, or even like I would find being in the library distracting sometimes if there's like people around you that were like goofing off or something like that. Even just like putting on headphones or like putting on instrumental music, something where could kind of shift your focus and block out the noise a little bit. That was always something that was helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. Did I miss anything in the chat feature that I should respond to?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any tips for not procrastinating?
Maybe a planner and then like try to stick to a schedule. That's what I try to do.
Do you use a hard, like a physical planner?
live by it.
I have this to-do list that I use every day, and I write what I need to get done, so it's all done in time.
Good for you.
I kind of do something similar where like between like the planner I have like I have something like from like Google spreadsheets or whatever. I have like my whole like Monday through Friday planned out for 2 to 3 hours per credit per class, and then like have it like kind of like color coordinated, and also every day like just like on a blank piece of like printer paper or something I'll write down all of my different assignments, because like in high school we had like agendas, so we don't really have that for college, so it's just writing down all of my different assignments for what I get throughout each day, and just kind of like writing the due dates next to it, kind of like the same concept of an agenda, but just on a big piece of paper. Like I could tape that to the wall in my dorm so I could just see what I have to do and have it in front of me.
Absolutely.
Going off that, I think like when we were in high school, like some of us used to do nows, and I think maybe do nows would work too, because it's kind of like what you have to do that day and what you have to complete in a certain specification of time. So I think that's essential too.
Hmm.
Do now as like a to-do list that's like prioritized?
Yeah, and like it just organizes, your assignments and what you need to get done.
Are you guys like freshmen, sophomores, transfers? Is this like, is organizing your time this semester different from maybe your experience, whether it was in high school last or like at your last institution?
I mean, I'm a freshman and I do find it like different. It's harder, like especially just because college is a whole different thing, but also like even just the last semester of high school, because it was just a whole switch and just harder for my teachers at high school to adapt to like online learning. So there wasn't it was either I had little to no work, or I had extreme amounts of work for my classes. So that was kind of made it easier to prioritize, because I either had no work or I had a lot of work and I would just get done what I need to get done.
I just noticed in the chat someone mentioned a way to automate something is to use or it can be considered delegate, right? Is to put your food in a crock pot or air fryer. You're delegating the task to the crock pot. Well, I've noticed that a lot of these programs are only about 30 minutes long. It's really to provide you with some quick information, but also to introduce you to our office. I can provide you with my email if you would like to ask further questions outside of this meeting. I'm posting my email address in the chat feature now. And the link for the timesheet. If we save it, Candace, do you think that we can put it in the chat feature as a PDF for others to save?
Yeah, I think if we save it, if you like download it to your computer and save it onto like your desktop or something, you should be able to attach and upload a file that'll pop up. It would only like be in this chat, so they could pull it from the chat and then they'd have to save it in order to keep it. They wouldn't be able to like access it again after the Zoom ends. But I think if you save it and download it to your computer, if then in the chat feature, if you click the file button, you should be able to attach it from your computer.
Jamie, if you're having issues, you can email me and I can send you the PDF directly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh,
And my email is in the chat feature if you need it. Okay. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So if there are no other questions, again, you can feel free to leave, but I hope that you've already filled out the survey to enter the raffle for a chance to win a gift card. And if you have any additional questions, you know where to find me.
Do you mind if I do a shameless plug?
Shameless plug. Go ahead.
Whether you're a transfer student or not, we have a few other events happening throughout this week. It's National Transfer Student Week. So a lot of our events are targeting towards transfer students, but it doesn't mean that you can't attend if you're not one. Tomorrow, this was our last event on the schedule for today, but tomorrow, in addition to some other campus events like the career and internship fairs and things like that that are coming up, we also have a transfer bingo. It's via Zoom, so it'll be a virtual event that anyone can be able to attend. We've got prizes, there's gift card prizes, there's Stockton swag prizes. So feel free to come attend that. That's Wednesday the 21st at 5:30 p.m. and the link to that event is in Osprey Hub. And then in addition to that, we also have an in-person Transfer Talks event that's on Thursday for anyone who's craving that opportunity to meet someone face-to-face. That'll be something where we bring some people together in Lakeside Lodge here on the Galloway campus. And if you're looking to be able to meet other people, because I know that's been really challenging, especially during this pandemic, it's just an opportunity to be able to get people to connect with each other. But of course, face masks will be required to be worn during that event as well. And then beyond that, we've also got Oh, thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. We've also got a Transfer RA info session. So today was a session for if you were interested in applying to be a Talons over under a Student Transitions Program office. And tomorrow, there's also a session to learn about how to apply to be a resident assistant, which is a position under the Office of Residential Life. So feel free to seek that out if it's something you think you might be considering or interested in. I always encourage people, just because you go to an info session doesn't mean that you're locked in, that we expect you to go through with everything. It's to be able to learn if that opportunity might be something that piques your interest. And they're really great student leadership opportunities. And then lastly, of course, on Friday, Dr. Rodriguez is helping create a space for transfer students of color. We're having a social via Zoom on Friday night. So if you are around, you have, opportunities in your calendar to be able to pop in and say hi and meet new people, please don't hesitate to join us. We do those events for you. So happy to be able to hopefully see your faces.
Any questions before we close out? Excellent.
I just have a question.
Okay.
I didn't hear like the first part of like what you said before. I think my sister was talking to me, but you said like there's a link for the PowerPoint. Like,
For this PowerPoint, so
yeah.
So if you want to rewatch this video, I'm going to post it on our Stockton Facebook pages. And if you want the PowerPoint specifically, Jamie, you could also email me and I'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm good.
You're welcome. If there are no other questions, I would like to wish you all a good evening and best wishes on your midterms.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
night.
You're welcome. Have a good night.